Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It is getting very festive. I've got my festive cat jumper on for today's video. So in today's video we were going to be making some soaps because I was kind of looking on Pinterest to see what I could make for like little handmade Christmas presents, and I stumbled across like soaps and I was like, do you know what, that is a really nice present to give someone. The soaps we are going to be making today is the easy way. So basically there's two ways of making soaps. You can buy like a melt and pour soap base, which is what I'm going to be using today, or there's another method which is a little bit harder, but I don't know which way is better. But the other way is to use a chemical called lye, and you have to let it set. And I did read a good couple of blog posts on how to do it that way, but when it comes to using chemicals and all of that stuff, I try and stay away from it. So I decided to go for the melt and pour base, which is so simple. You knock these up in an hour. They are so simple to make. Last week myself and Aoife knocked up a batch of these soaps and we brought them into work, and we got all the ladies in work to like take some home, use them, wash their hands. So I can safely report that these soaps did not irritate. Now just check the ingredients you put in. I'm going to put almond oil in today's soaps, so just mark and write down what ingredients you've put in, so if you are giving them to people, that if they are allergic to any of like almond oil or anything like that, that at least they know. The melt and pour soap base was really easy to get my hands on. I bought it off Amazon and it was shipped to Ireland within like a week. I actually think it came quicker than a week. I'll link below where on Amazon I got my soap base. I got a goat's milk soap base, but you don't have to get goat's milk. There was loads of different ones, so even if you click the link and then just browse all the different soap bases, you can find one that you want to use. What I loved about this DIY is you can get really creative with your soap molds. Basically it's a cake mold I use, so I have some like Christmas ones, then I have some normal bar ones, and you can just get totally creative with this. You can just let your imagination run wild. You can mix all different kind of essential oils, different ingredients, like it's just so much fun. So we are going to go down to the kitchen because I need my microwave to melt this stuff, and I'm going to show you the steps on how I make them and all the different kind of molds I used and how I kind of styled them to give them as presents to people. So I'm going to talk you through what I'm using today. A lot of stuff can be shop bought, and then like that you can just get your melt and pour base then online. This is the melt and pour goat's milk base. You can see here it just says goat's milk, and yeah, this is just like basically a block of kind of soap. It kind of smells a little soapy. It doesn't really have a scent, but we chop this up to cubes and then we melt it in the microwave and we add in our other ingredients. And I think this is 1 kilo. Yeah, so this is 1 kilo, 2 pound of soap, and this will make loads of soaps. And I got 2 of these for 15 euros, I think it was, but I'll link below to it. Then have this Pyrex glass kind of measuring jug. So basically don't use ones from the kitchen. So whatever you use to make your soaps, keep that for your soaps. Keep it separate from your kind of cooking stuff. I got this out of Home Store and More. I think it was like 7 or 8 euro. You pick one up on Amazon cheaper. You'll probably even get one in the pound shop. What I liked about this one was that it had kind of like measuring indications on it. So that was handy. It was also, I like that I had a spout, so it was easy when I was pouring in the liquid to the mold. So now for the fun stuff, I am going to be doing 2 recipes today. So I'm basically going to be doing a honey, oatmeal and almond oil soap. So that's one soap I'm doing, and then the other one I'm going to do is I'm going to do a lavender and lemongrass soap. These smell delicious. Myself and Aoife made them last week, so that's going to be one batch of soaps. I'm going to do lavender and lemongrass, and then these is going to be oatmeal, honey and sweet almond, and this is lovely on the skin. If you suffer with like eczema, some people laugh when I say eczema, I think they say eczema, but in Ireland we say eczema. It's really good for sensitive skin, and the little kind of flakes act as an exfoliant, so yes, we like the porridge ones. Here's all my different molds. So I have some gingerbread men. These are cake molds. I use them, they're absolutely perfect. So they're just kind of little rubber. They're really easy to pop out once they set. I have some little snowflake ones. These are really nice as well. That's just some more snowflake. Then I have an actual kind of bar of soap shaped one, so I might do some of the oatmeal ones in this, so they're like a nice size. And then I got these off Amazon. This is like a little honeycomb shaped, so I thought I had seen a blog post on Pinterest where they use honeycomb shaped molds, so I just thought it would be nice for like the honey recipe to put them into little honeycombs. Your soap molds is where you can get really creative. So basically, your imagination can run wild with what molds you use and what essential oils. If you go onto Pinterest and just search like essential oil combinations, you'll see tons of ideas for what scents to kind of mix. And it's all about just experimenting and playing around. It's just so much fun. So I'm going to go into the kitchen now and I'm going to show you how to actually make them. It's so simple though. So I have just popped this. I gave it a bit of a bash to get it out of this container, and I'm probably going to use half of this. I'm going to chop off what I need, chop it up into tiny cubes before I pop them in my glass to start melting them. So I have just chopped up enough kind of soap. I'd be aiming to get around the 400ml mark. So I've chopped that up, and now we're going to pop it in the microwave for 30-second intervals. So 30 seconds, stir, 30 seconds until it's completely liquefied and nice and smooth. I'm going to use the end of a wooden spoon to use to mix. Also a wooden spoon that you're not going to use for cooking. So I'm just going to use that as my stirrer. So once you are happy with your consistency, so it's nice and liquid, no chunks, nice and smooth, then we need to kind of work a little bit quick. Also be careful, this might be hot. So we don't want once the air hits it, it'll start to kind of set. So we need to add in our ingredients and get them in the molds. Nice and quick, you don't have to be rushing it, but just bear in mind that it will start to harden. First thing I'm going to do is add in 1 tablespoon of manuka honey. Manuka honey is kind of expensive. You don't have to use this. This is just one from Dunn's. You can use normal honey, and I'm just going to pop that in first. This will give it a lovely kind of golden colour. So just going to get all that honey off. Then I'm going to go in with some drops of organic sweet almond oil. I'm going to go for 20 drops for the 400ml. That's what I'm going to go for. This is the colour I have. You can see the honey has sent it kind of like a nice warm colour. Next I'm going to add in porridge oats, and my tips for porridge is, we made these last week, we did put too much porridge in, so I'm just using some normal kind of quick oats. So my best tip is just put in little handfuls at a time until you're kind of happy. And just mix these in until you're kind of happy that it's mixed through, but don't go too mad on the porridge because we did last week and we put too much in them. If your soap starts to kind of thicken up, you can put it in the microwave for another 30 seconds before you pour it, just to get it back nice and thin. Put a little baking tray with some paper on it, and here is my mould. I'm going to use the honeycomb one for the honey recipe, so I'm going to pop the mould on. It just means when I'm putting these into the fridge, I won't kind of spill them, because next they're going to go into the fridge. So I'm going to pour them all in now. The way we have some bubbles along here, I read online that if you have some rubbing alcohol, you can spray it on it. I don't have any rubbing alcohol because that will get rid of the bubbles, but the only thing is I don't really mind, because once these set, this will be the back of the soap, so you're not really going to see the bubbles, but rubbing alcohol is the tip for that. Now we are going to bring these over to the fridge, and I'm going to pop them in the fridge for about an hour. They will set quicker. I'm going to make a second batch while I'm waiting on these ones to set. So I'm going to clean up my glass, spoons, everything I used for that batch. It's really simple to clean them. Warm water and it all just kind of rubs off, and your hands actually smell lovely. So I'm going to clean them up and start again. I'm going to do the same way, only instead of adding honey, almond and porridge, I'm going to use lavender and lemongrass essential oils because they smell delicious. Might pop in a little bit of almond oil because that's nice for the skin. There's no scent off the almond oil. So I'm going to clean up and make a second batch, because the second batch you'll see the difference. Because I'm not adding the honey, they'll be really white, and the lavender and lemongrass went down a treat with the girls in work, so I'm going to do a batch of them, so I have 2 batches to give away. So I have just mixed up a batch of soap, same way I made for the last batch. So I have some lemongrass oil and I have some lavender oil, and I'm gonna add probably about 20 drops of each. Stir it up. If it's not smelling as strong, I'll add maybe 10 drops more. So 20 to 30 drops. It all depends on how strong you want it to smell. Have my mold set out again, so I'm going to do a couple of each, a few gingerbread, a few snowflake, and then 1 or 2 bars, just so I can show you all the different ways you can kind of use your molds to get different shapes. Now on to the fun part. We're going to take them out of the fridge and hopefully they're set. You'll know by touching them if they're set. I give mine about half an hour, and they're definitely set. The fun part is popping them out of the molds, and you can see the little shapes that they're after taking, and that's when you get really giddy because they have turned out nice. So my favourite part of this DIY is popping them out of the little cake molds. See, I have some bubbles, but I don't really mind these. If I had used the rubbing alcohol, I wouldn't have had it. But these are rock solid, and they're ready to come out, and this is just my absolute fave. You can see them, they're just so easy to pop out. Once you pop them out, you can see you're left with like a perfect shape at front, so there's no bubbles really at the front, it's just at the back. But like that, use the rubbing alcohol, but when you're giving them as presents, people don't really mind. So I'd be delighted popping these out. So here is all my different shapes and soaps. So I just wanted to show you like the difference between, so that's the one that has the honey oatmeal and almond oil, and the honey turned to that kind of colour, and then this is the one that is just lavender and lemongrass, and they stayed white. I didn't put any like artificial colourants in them, so it's all kind of natural. Then here's me little blocks, so that's like a block of like soap, so that turned out nice. That'd be nice to wrap in some fabric scraps. And then over here I have my little gingerbread men, and these are lavender and lemongrass. These would have been nice to maybe do like a cinnamon recipe for the little gingerbread men, but I just wanted to show you all of the different kind of shapes and styles and how they turn out. It's like a really fun DIY, and the best thing about this DIY is your kitchen will smell amazing after making them. A great way to kind of wrap up your kind of bar style soaps is to use up, we all have these kind of fabric scraps laying around, so I kind of just ironed one out, cut it to size, and I'm going to wrap it around my bar of soap and put a bit of twine on it, so it'll be a nice little gift, little shabby chic soap bar. There's the bars of soap kind of styled up, and then I have some Kilner jars here, and I just think this would be a cute way as well. Like you can paint these jars, you can get really creative, but I just think it would be nice to kind of pop some of the soaps in the jars, and you can kind of see, and it's a great little present then to give. You can pop a bit of twine on it. There's so many ways you could kind of get creative to package these to give as presents. Enjoyed my soap making today. Although I'm kind of doing them like as a Christmas DIY, as I was making them, I was like they would be great as normal presents, but for weddings as well. You could maybe do wedding favours or to have them in the bathroom at a wedding. I thought they'd be a very good idea for that too. Let me know if you have made these before and if you have any recommendations for like essential oil combos. So if you can recommend any scents to kind of mix together that smell really nice. I found tons of info off Pinterest So I had a good old scroll. I read a ton of blog posts before doing this, so there's loads of knowledge over there if you do want to kind of find out more on soap making. Tag me in your pictures on Instagram if you give it a bash. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in next week's video.